If there's one group of Australians for whom we should be grateful in this country, it is our hard-working farmers. These men and women work every day to put food on the table for 61 million people right around the world without ever making a fuss. They manage 50% of the harsh Australian landscape and take care of it with an effectiveness and understanding that the heavy hand of government could never match. But most importantly, they make sure that Australia doesn't rely on imports for our food, unlike our fuel, fertiliser and steel stockpiles that would run dry within weeks if Xi Jinping blocked the shipping lanes to our north. This is the point Mark Davey, chair of the industry group Beef Sustainability Australia, made in an outstanding letter to the Epoch Times published yesterday. Mark Davey said, and I quote, "I'm all for initiatives that can reduce emissions whilst working within the drivers of productivity for industry because we've still got to feed people." He warned that green initiatives like cutting methane emissions will come at the expense of people's livelihoods, as well as those of farmers and small business. He pointed to a terrifying example of green madness in Northern Ireland, where the government is demanding farmers cull 700,000 sheep and 500,000 cattle to meet its new, quote, legally binding climate emissions targets, unquote. I've warned of this. You've got no hope of reaching 43% emissions reductions without attacking transport and agriculture. But considering Northern Ireland has only 1.6 million cows and 1.9 million sheep, that's 31% of the country's cattle and 37% of their sheep gone, all in the name of meeting carbon dioxide reduction targets. Mark Davies warned that the infiltration of corporate Australia by green activists means, quote, we've got big companies offsetting the carbon emissions by planting trees in prime agricultural land, unquote. Perhaps most interesting, however, was Davies' criticism of the alarmist and frankly hysterical State of the Environment report that was released last month by the new federal Labor government. Davies said the State of the Environment report, quote, might be tied to domestic politics, but ruin the reputation of farmers who are, quote, actually doing the right thing, unquote. What Mark Davies is saying as chairman of the industry group Beef Sustainability Australia is that farmers manage 50% of the Australian landscape. They're environmentally conscious, they manage the land productively, they feed people, they provide jobs and export income to government. Mark Davies is spot on. Career politicians and woke bureaucrats who know nothing about the bush are pushing our farmers around in the name of tackling so-called man-made climate change. They want to cull our livestock to reduce methane emissions. They want to lock up beautiful agricultural land to plant monocultural forests that will supposedly, quote, sequester carbon dioxide. They want to ban farmers from building fire breaks around the unmanaged and vermin-infested national parks because this might hurt a few trees on their own property. In fact, based on the CSIRO's recent report titled, quote, An Industry with Legs, Australia's First Edible Insects Roadmap, unquote. Looks like the Greenies, endorsed by Labor, plan to have us eat bugs instead. Australia's First Edible Insects Roadmap. I can't wait.